Hi everyone, welcome to GoLocal Live. I'm GoLocal News Editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for joining us this Thursday afternoon. If you just were with us, we had Kim Lee, Director, the Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion at IGT. We're going to take you just over the border here, though, for quite an interesting story. I've got Liz York, the Director of Collections at Battleship Cove. Liz, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And a familiar face, Gianfrancesco, with Bob Francis Interiors, part of the story that will tell you how this came together here. So Liz, give us a little insight about how you partnered up with Alan to help restore this truly a gem here in southern New England.
So I received an email a few months ago from Alan, and he was a visitor, and he said, I walked by the barbershop and I noticed the upholstery is needs a bit of TLC and a bit of care and love, and so I said, hey, come on down, let's have a look at it, see what we can do. And the barbershop on the Battleship, it's a World War II era battleship. The barbershop was really one of the social centers for the sailors on board. So of course it's a very important spot on the Battleship, just like every other compartment that we have. But making sure that it looks its best for our visitors was really important to us. And when he offered his help, of course, and his expertise, it's what we need.
So Alan, tell us a little bit. You always have the eye on upholstery. It's in your blood. It's what you do. Had you rehabbed barbershop chairs before?
Yes, I've done probably a dozen over the course of the last 40 years. Most of them really nice old pieces like they have there on the Battleship.
So tell us a little bit about the process, how many chairs there were, how you even go about tackling such a project. Of course, you're excited, you hear from someone who wants to help. And Alan, when you go there, walk us through the process.
Well, I went there with family for a visit. I've been many times, but my sister had never been, my brother-in-law had never been, so we were there for a day walking through the boat. And of course, I noticed the upholstery, which was all ripped and torn. The springs were popping out. It was in pretty bad shape. And the more I looked around the boat, the more I realized that these people had such a job in front of them to get things done that I wanted to be able to do my part and do this project for no charge and help them get the boat back into a little better condition, being able to do what I do.
Well, fantastic. What a great combination of a community member, a nonprofit, if the combination of which is just a success story. Mm-hmm. So Liz, I really, would love for you to tell folks, folks who've been before, maybe they've been in recent years, maybe it's been a number of years, because maybe they haven't been. Give us really an overview of the Cove and the constant upkeep that's necessary, because so many visitors, and again, historic artifacts.
Right, yeah. So we have, Battleship Cove has 4 ships, has 4 historic naval vessels sitting in the water. We have the Battleship Massachusetts. She's a World War II era ship. She's about 680 feet long, so she's no small artifact at all. Then we also have the destroyer, the USS Joseph P. Kennedy Jr. We also have a submarine, the USS Lionfish. Both of those are World War II and a little bit past World War II, all the way up through the Cuban Missile Crisis and the Vietnam War era. We also have the Hidden Z. So we have 4 ships in the water, and of course, we all know that metal in salt water don't really work too well, so it's a constant preservation process for us, and we are a 501c3 nonprofit. Mm-hmm. We receive no state, local, or federal funding, so when we have people like Alan coming by who want to volunteer their time and help us out or even donate, of course this is how we survive. So with these 4 ships, we also have 2 PT boats, we have 3 aircraft, we have the landing craft, we also have the Maritime Museum, which is right down the road from us in Fall River. So we have a lot of artifacts and history that needs to be preserved. So
and a merry-go-round.
And a merry-go-round, yeah. We do have a carousel, the Fall River Carousel, which is from 1914.
Vintage as well.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
And it very much is living history because of the number of people. You're not going into a museum and seeing the Mona Lisa from a distance. People are walking on the boats. Mm-hmm. They're really interacting with a piece of history. So that just increases sort of the wear and tear, if you will. So let's talk a little bit about that. You were so fortunate to have Alan be able to step in and help out. But how much do you depend on, obviously, donations, fundraising, folks in the community? Give us a little overview of that, because again, folks who know of Battleship Cove will be interested to hear this.
Right, so like I said before, we have no state, local, or federal funding. We rely solely on admissions coming through the door, and we also have a great great overnight camping program. So that really helps us and keeps us going. But of course, we're always looking for, it's a constant preservation process. We're always looking for help, whether it's through fundraising, donations, or even just coming by and helping us to literally physically restore any of the ships there. So.
And Alan, I mean, your business, Bob Francis Interiors, I mean, you could be reupholstering anything from 2 years ago to 200 years ago. I mean,
Right.
history is really part of what you do. So we had the opportunity to talk when you helped out with the Lizzie Borden Museum reupholstering, was it a settee? Is that
Well, actually, we did about 30 pieces there in the house. We upholstered every upholstered antique in the house.
Every antique. And so talk with us a little bit about that and then those materials, how one goes about, again, for that lay person who doesn't really know the nitty gritty about how you go about trying to say, wow, let's keep the identity, let's keep the character, let's keep the historic nature of something that, again, can get a lot of wear and tear.
Right. Well, in terms of the work that we did on the Battleship, Massachusetts, it was pretty easy because it's red naugahyde, which you can find in any McDonald's restaurant booth. So that really wasn't too much of a project. The Lizzie Borden project, a little bit different because we had to rely on our stock of materials in terms of old tapestries and velvets and things of that nature to put that project together. So a little bit of a different direction that we went in for both of these projects.
And Liz, we had the opportunity to talk the deck being redone. That seems
Yes.
not quite a small project.
No, it just like lots of the projects at the Battleship, the Teak Deck is one example. We get a lot of visitors that come by and say, your deck looks, like it needs some love and care and maybe some rework. And it's just like every other project, our superstructure, for example, we're trying to fundraise for that at the moment. The Teak Deck is such a strange project because that type of wood is rare. I believe it's one of the endangered wood species out there. So of course, just replacing the wood is very expensive. But below the wood is the steel deck structure. And there's a lot of mitigation in terms of structure there, steel work that needs to be done, any mitigation for any chemicals or any preservatives that were used between the wood and the steel. So it's a multi-layered process and it's not cheap. So we're trying to preserve history. We're trying to keep this beautiful historic landmark available for future visitors to see and for the crew members that we are there for, the former crew members of the Battleship. It's a constant struggle, but we love what we do.
And Alan, anything you want to share with viewers about this process? Again, from soup to nuts, got a little bit of an overview again of your kindness to the Battleship Cove and being able to share your expertise. Anything else about it that you think folks should be aware of?
Well, a lot of people that I know have never even been there, a lot of Rhode Islanders, and I'm kind of surprised, but I was raised in the World War II family. My father was in the Army, he was a paratrooper, and he took me there many times when I was a kid. So I have that connection to it through my father. My father also started my business, and we're in business 71 years this year. So that was another connection to the boat itself. And the minute I saw something that needed doing, I contacted one of the fabric companies that I do business with, United Fabrics, and they were kind enough to donate all the materials for the project. So that was a very nice thing for them to do.
Very good. And Liz, anything else you want to share? I think we've sort of gotten, I think the point that if you are a supporter of, again, history, military history, and again, which everyone from school-age kids to veterans come and take part in daily. Anything else you want to share?
Well, Alan brought up a great point. She's not just Massachusetts' Battleship. Same with all the other ships there. It's really New England's Battleship Museum, New England's Historic Vessel Museum. And, please come on down and visit us. We're open 7 days a week, and she's beautiful to see in the summertime. We have some great exhibits. We also have overnight programs. If anyone's interested in staying overnight, we have family overnight camping, as well as Boy and Girl Scout camping programs. So we're always here, and we need your support.
Fantastic. Well, Liz and Alan, I appreciate your taking the time to come in. And I'm sure you're curious probably to see what this project looked like from beginning to the end. If you're watching now, check back in with GoLocal when we have the article up and more photos for you to check out too. And of course, if you're watching after the fact, you'll have them at your fingertips. So thanks for watching us here on GoLocal Live. We'll be live tomorrow when the Providence Pedestrian Bridge official ribbon cutting ceremony takes place in the morning. So check us out when you see us pop up in the morning. But of course, catch us online, golocalprov.com. Find us on Facebook throughout the evening. we'll see you tomorrow. I'm GoLocal News Editor Kate Nagel.